Closing time. Yes, we made it. Hey, but before we celebrate, a couple things to remember and to help you pay attention to at the closing and right before the closing. So a couple of questions always coming up before the closing. I'm gonna go over them quickly so that this way you can prepare for the closing and you will be able to pay attention to some of the stuff that will be important and you might be asking questions about it right after closing. So hi everyone, thank you for tuning in. Jarek Jastrzębski here, JR Group eXp Realty, and I'm here to help you out. And if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. Please leave me a comment. Please ask the question, if there's maybe something that you want to know about real estate. We'll be really happy to help answer the question. So the number one thing right before the closing, it's always coming as a question is how much money I need to bring to the closing. And why this is always a mystery, Well, a couple of things. So the title company, this is the place when the closing will take place, will not know to the end what's all of the fees associated with closing the transaction. For example, how much will the origination fee of the loans are. Different cities have a different transfer stamps. So if you're buying in city of Chicago will be different, and then if you're buying in Park Ridge will be different fees associated with the closing the transaction. So and your attorney fees, and then you also will get some of the credits at the closing, and how much of the credits you will get, that will depends on when you're closing during a year, so on and so forth. So usually you will get this number one day before the closing, and if you want to avoid this, waiting to the last minute, you can ask your attorney or you can ask your lender how much approximately you need to bring to the closing, and just bring a little bit more. And then what will happen at the closing, the title company will cut you the check for the overage, whatever you bring to the closing table. So that's the one thing. The second thing is usually, the title company will ask you to wire the money to the title company, right? So usually the case is if it's below 50,000, you can probably bring the cashier's check. But usually they want the money to be wired to them. So you need to ask for specific wire instruction from the attorney, right? And when you're gonna get them, when you go to the bank, please verify with the title company, just make sure you're wiring the money into the right place, right? So wire instruction. Number three thing to remember, you need to have your valid photo ID. So driving license, state ID, passport will do. But remember, you need to have it, will be needed at the closing. At the closing table, now with the closing table, you will be signing all bunch of documents, and well, trust me, there is all bunch of them, maybe like inch and a half. So just make sure you keep yourself, hydrated. You build your muscle, because there will be a lot of writing, and you're not fainted at the closing table, and you're ready to go through. But on the serious note, your attorney will help you out to go over all of the documents. And I just want to tell you some of them that will be important to pay attention to. So number one will be a closing statement. On the closing statement, you will find all of the fees that you will need to pay for the transaction, and also all of the credits that you will receive. And it's maybe a good idea to ask your attorney if you can maybe record this part of the closing, because there's so many of them, and I know sometimes it's really hard to remember, and attorneys will go pretty quickly through them, almost automatically. It's sometimes really hard to remember everything. So this way you can come back and listen to that when you're gonna get back home, and just make sure you understand all of the fees that are in the closing statement. Number second thing at the closing table will be the note. So the note is the agreement, it's promise that you will pay that bank, that loan that you take it. And look, I'm not the attorney to explain it to you exactly what this is all about, and that's why you have your attorney to explain everything. But I just want to make you aware of it, that on your note you're going to have the information like how much money you are borrowing, what's your interest rate, when it's your first payment, when it's your last payment, if you can prepay your loan. So some of those information are very important, To give you the example, just recently we closed the transaction, and my client was not aware of it, that on his loan there was prepayment penalty. And this is not something that he wants to do. He wanted to refinance very quickly after he will remodel the property. So just make sure, go over this with your lender before the closing, and when you're at the closing, you double check with the attorney, just make sure all of the terms are the same that you was applying for when you was applying for the loan. The next thing will be something that it's need to be pay attention to. It's a deed. So again, deed is just a document that it's transferring title from the seller to you, and then depends if you are a single or if you are a married couple, that's transfer, and you will be taking this title in the all different kind of possible way, and the attorney will explain what will be the best option for you. And the final document that you need to pay attention to is the title insurance. Your attorney will say this is probably the most important document. And like everything in our life, we need to have the insurance. And same thing here, you need to have the insurance for the title of your property. And your attorney will explain everything, and he's gonna go over details, he's gonna double check, make sure there is no liens on it. So you're getting a clear title. Pay attention to that as well. So there you go. This is probably the most important documents that you need to pay attention to at the closing table. So after that, well, you're gonna get the keys. So with keys, a couple of things, guys, to remember. Make sure you're getting the keys and garage door openers, right? And if this is a condo, double check, make sure you're getting the mailbox key. And if there is storage room, make sure you're getting the storage room keys as well. And that's about it, you know. After that, don't forget to celebrate. Congratulations, you did a great job, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you, guys.